This is the SwishWire podcast.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the SwishWire podcast. This week, we got on someone very, very special. He's one of the best shooters in the world. He's hooped it up at the Miami Pro League against so many NBA players like Michael Beasley, James Harden, so many more. Just straight hoopers. He's currently killing it in Columbia. Had a great college career at Montclair State University. Give it up for Danny Ramis.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, so me and the boys got Justin and Eon on the pod today. So y'all want to follow us up?
You guys doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, man.
Anytime.
So I heard you guys got some questions for me. We had like some fans drop in some questions also. So let's get started, man. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Justin, you want to start off?
Yeah. So we watched your Who Am I video, and in the opening clip, it shows a quote from the legendary Kobe Bryant, which says, "The topic of leadership is a touchy one. A lot of leaders fail because they don't have the bravery to touch that nerve or strike that chord. Throughout my years, I haven't had that fear." What does that quote mean to you?
Well, to me, it goes a little bit about like that Mamba mentality. Like no matter what type of adversity comes to you, you got to always just conquer and persevere through that. Just do the best you can, to the best of your ability. Everyone has those roadblocks like throughout their life. Like for me, I've had injuries, I've had knick-knack injuries, I've had major injuries, and every single barrier that we face on a daily, you just got to find a way how to mentally get through it, physically get through it, and try to get that 1% better each and every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask this. So let's say in a game, you're down by 3 and you're shooting 0 of 18 that game. With 3 seconds left, do you take the shot?
Still taking that shot.
Mamba mentality.
That's what Kobe would do, man.
It's the Mamba mentality.
He never
I'm still
back down.
and I know like the teammates around me would have that same type of trust in me to make that last shot, because I've been in that position before that you just said, where I've gone 0 for 8 from the 3, and last seconds we're looking for a 3 to tie it up or go up 1, and we've swung it to me. Coach draws up a play for me, and I've nailed a couple, missed a couple, but it's a trial and error thing. You got to have that confidence to still take those shots at the end of the game. Have that confidence in yourself too.
You're like
feel
that.
Pressure when you put it in that situation where game's on the line, you got to make the shot.
Yeah.
You're like that. You're one of the best shooters in the entire world. No matter what your percentages are looking like, you'll take it. And as you said, the Mamba mentality, you got to push through everything. You got to work hard like Kobe did. And in that quote, it also talked about leadership. How much pride do you take in being a leader?
I take a lot of pride in being a leader. I held my teammates to a certain standard when we're on the floor, that no matter what you're going through, no matter if you just got a turnover, 2 turnovers in a row, hey, next play mentality. We got to keep the ball rolling. We got to keep the whole team moving. We got to keep everything else rolling. And even outside of the floor, like I'll try to have that leadership aspect where if I see someone kind of going off the path of where we want the team to go, because a lot of teams have egos involved as well, and this is just part of the game. But it's all a collective group effort. And so I pride myself on being on teams that we don't really lose. We go to championships and we compete. So I have always been that type of person that if I see someone kind of desviando, like in the Spanish term, desviando means like going like their own way a little bit, remind them, hey, this is where our team goal is. This is where we want to go. Everyone has their personal goals, but we all have to have that little bit of sacrifice and what we do into the team goal. So that's pretty much my mentality I have on that. That was a great question, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, so aside from Kobe, is there like an NBA player or a basketball player in general you idolize that you maybe model your game after?
So I grew up I was born in New Jersey, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, but I grew up in Miami. So Dwayne Wade, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just fair.
That's respect.
And it's actually kind of funny since he's not that great of a 3-point shooter. We're certainly known for that.
No, he was actually a great slasher, great just all-around scorer in general, and a winner.
Hmm.
But I love the mentality he goes into every single game.
I mean, even in his later seasons, that amazing shot against the Warriors to beat
Yep.
them, he was
I
Yep.
always
remember.
a blooded shooter or not.
I
He
remember
was
against the Hornets in like 2016, like he only hit like 8 threes the whole game, like the whole year, and then he hits like three to close them out, and then that's just his mentality, just
yeah.
like Kobe. You know.
Flash Flash was never afraid of the moment.
Hmm.
Never, never. And growing up, I kind of like idolized him in a way where I see a move he does on Nowitzki, and I'm like, okay, I love that move. I'm gonna go out there and try to do it, and try to just learn, pick little things from everybody's game that I like the most, and try to just have a complete type of game.
With
To
that,
have like to
yeah,
like take his shiftiness kind of and like speed, ability to get past bigger and stronger players. That's something that um that like you were able to put into your game, and it's been successful for you.
Well, I'm more of a shooter, but when I do get in the lane, I do, and I like to
Yeah.
create for
Hmm.
others because I've taken things. I've taken kind of like the way Curry and Chris Paul would see the game. They would, kind of drive, kick, have the best shot for the team for that possession. So it's not when I'm on the floor, it's not always about a me. Like I'm always in attack mode, but I'm always not looking to get myself better. But if I can make the people around me better too, we got a really good chance at winning basketball games.
Have you always
so
been a
you said,
creator, or did you like develop that later into your career?
I've kind of always had like a little knack for it. All throughout, like I used to be very tall as a child, so they would put me at center, but I would still be playing guard. and and around when high school hit, I just saw everyone else keep growing, and I'm just stayed around the same height. I only grew about like 2, 3 more inches, so I had to kind of reinvent my game a bit, and just every single day, challenges arise. You just got to know how to deal with them and how to persevere through them.
so you said that you like to take fragments of people's games and put it
Yeah.
into your own. But is there one player you'd say you compare most to?
Mm. I like to say JJ Redick because
Okay,
he's a great shooter. He loves to create for his teammates. He can finish at the rim. He has a pull-up jumper, and of course, like he's one of the better three-point shooters in every single team he's on, if not the best shooter on every single team he's on.
yeah,
And
I
I
would
kind
do
of
that.
model my team game after that.
JJ Redick is definitely like he's labeled as a 3-point shooter, but if you actually watch him, you know he does like anything on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, Danny.
yeah,
When I watch your game, I see a lot of Seth Curry.
I was gonna say that.
that
Okay,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hmm. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Hmm.
got that
that is
underrated
like that
ability
shooting
to get
guard
his
that still
teammates
has
involved.
the point guard mindset.
Hmm.
that's true. So yeah, now that you mentioned that, I've ran a little bit of the one in my pro career. They've kind of saw that I'm able to handle the team and got everyone up, have the whole system running for what the team wants, and take it on every possession. So I've transitioned a little bit to the one because all throughout my college career I played the two.
And
And
so,
just like, sorry, my bad. You
okay,
could
so one
go.
thing you, Seth, and JJ Redick all have in common besides shooting is your height. You're a 6'2", 190-pound dude. How do you overcome the size and disadvantage?
Uh, just hard. I hustle out on the floor. I do the little things. I dive on the floor. I go box the bigger guy out. I see things ahead of time. Try to have my IQ really play a big role in how I play,
That's
and
a
it's
Marcus
a
Smart
daily
mentality.
process with that. You get better every single day. You learn new things. You learn your sweet spots on the court. You create your new sweet spots on the court, and it's a daily process that I enjoy doing. I love it.
Hard over height. You gotta have that hustle, which you obviously have. Do all the little things, grab loose balls, box out bigger guys, and that's exactly
Yeah,
what you have. Mm.
yeah.
But segueing into another topic, you graduated in business administration with a major
Yes.
in sports marketing and events at Montclair University. How are you
Yeah.
able to balance this with your basketball career?
So right off the bat, like right after I graduated, I kind of had to play a role of an agent for myself. Market myself to other teams and get my film out to other coaches. Have my resumes go out. Try to find agents for myself to represent me. But most of the work, with the help of one other person, I got to play in Colombia. I got the opportunity to present myself to the team for their preseason. I came to the preseason, killed it. They loved me, and the rest was history. Took the team to the championship, and the second year also helped the team to get to the championship. So I'm excited to see what's in store for the third year.
Mhm.
And then a couple years back, you played in the Miami Pro League with some
Yeah,
NBA stars like James Harden, John Wall, Victor Oladipo, and Bam Adebayo.
yeah. It was definitely a great experience, like being on the floor while they were there as well. It was great. I did not play as much against them, where
Yeah.
I would play more against other players like Michael Beasley, Amari Stoudemire, other Mario Chalmers, uh, just to name a few other NBA guys. Out in a gym called Fast Switch, well now formerly known as Athletics now. But we get in there, we'll put in some work. We got around the same trainers, get in there at the same time, go have some hoop sessions, and it's really good to be around those type of players because you want to be with people that are better than you, so you can level up as well.
So when you played, did you have a different mindset, or was it just these are just my opponents? I'm gonna go all
I
in.
would I would kind of just play just freely, and they would give me the confidence. They know I'm a shooter, so I would set myself up in situations where everyone benefits from it. Michael Beasley's a great scorer. You know, so if I'm on the floor with him, just an example, if I'm on the floor with him, I'm looking to lob him the ball damn near every time I can because he could go catch him.
I feel like
Set everyone else up in scoring options and kind of transform my game from more of a 2 to a 1 because of my height, because of the little tangible things that I do miss. I need to make up in another way.
Yeah, you don't want to just, you have more eyes on you going against NBA players. You don't want to just, chuck up shots and try and show like
Yeah,
you're this amazing scorer. You just want to be that team player because that's what coaches like.
exactly.
I feel like
That's one
once
thing I've learned. You want to be very adaptable and how do you fit into systems.
I feel like once you start cooking though, you're basically playing with house money. You couldn't really have a worry in the world on court though.
That's true. I I when I hit the second one in a row, I already know it's gonna be a good day.
And you were talking about adapting to other situations, like um, because you're such a good shooter, like you could adapt to pretty much anything. You're a good playmaker, you're a hustler, you're a good leader. You could adapt to any situation possible, which is like a trait that any coach wants to have.
Yeah, that's very true. Thank you.
All right, so you've obviously labeled yourself as a shooter. You're an amazing shooter, but what would you say is the most underrated aspect of your game?
My most underrated aspect,
Yeah.
uh, I don't want to say my playmaking ability. Because the teammates that I do play with, all throughout my high school, college, and pro career, they all know I could create and get in the paint, finish, and look for other people too. So I would say my playmaking and my ball handling now because it has gotten better throughout the years.
So on the court, would you rather look for a shot or look for setting someone up? Whatever comes first.
Well, I'm I'm always looking to score. I'm always in attack mode. But if other play develops out of it, hey, so be it. I'm never tentative to try to swing the ball to one of my teammates.
Hey, that's the mind of a winning player.
Yeah,
hmm
exactly.
You're not out there to stat pad. You're out there to win.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so anyways, we're gonna segue into our training segment, where this is where you're gonna give advice to aspiring players who are listening to the show, trying to add more to their bag. So my first training question for you is that not only are you a lethal shooter from behind the arc, but you also have an elite ability to put the ball on the floor and create for yourself. What do you do to perfect this aspect of your game?
I'll work on. Honestly, I would envision somebody in front of me, and just like I would sit there shooting spot up shots, I would sit there doing game reps. So I'll go between the legs, as hard as I can. Every single rep matters. So you want to make them as game like as possible. I'm a firm believer in if you're putting up 50 game reps, it's better than 500 lazy shots. I would rather make the most out of my time and have every single rep count because it will translate better to the game.
Yeah, a lot of kids just be out there in their driveway just chucking shots instead of actually practicing what they're gonna do in the game.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely.
when I do train people, because I do train people on the side now too, while before and after I do some of my workouts, I uh I always try to instill that same mantra. Every single rep counts. So if you want to go lazily on one rep, try to make up for it by hustling back, getting up the floor and getting straight into that next one. Have that next play mentality. Hey, maybe not every single rep you're gonna go as hard the one before, but you need to still make it in a way where you're covering ground and finding yourself open, getting to good spots on the floor, little things like that. Positioning. It's a game of angles. It's a game of angles.
That's some great advice. Hope everyone who's listening in definitely takes that to heart. So, my second question for you to end our training segment is during COVID restrictions, what did you do to level up your game, and how can people who are listening to this apply that to their own training?
So during COVID, I've had a kind of, I don't want to say completely revamp the way I train, but I have had to like change it up a bit because I would still find a court. To me, if I go to an outdoor court, I can still do ball handling, some form shooting. I could get some touches around the basket, but it's not the same as getting inside of the gym, because one, I was dealing with injuries throughout my legs. I had compartment syndrome, and not a lot of people do know that, but I had to play through it. These past 2 seasons, I did play overseas, so it was just basically just a lot of pressure and overuse in that was going on throughout my legs, which caused a lot of inflammation and pressure in the compartments of the legs. So I've had to take a lot of rest, value rest, one of them that I've had to do. Two, make every single rep count, and that's why I always like preach upon that, because every single rep does count, even when you train. If you're taking lazy reps, you're gonna get used to that, and it's all about habits that you create. So I will go do that, and I will go do my physical therapies over here at UM, which is where I'm currently at right now. I just actually got out of one of the physical therapy sessions right now. That's why I'm in my car. but but yeah, it's kind of had to give me a different perspective of how effective I gotta train and throughout my day, how I want to schedule my day out.
And speaking of injuries, you've had uh, a lot of injuries. 2015, 2016, you only played one game before a season-ending injury. What was it like overcoming that?
I was really just on the sideline.
Yeah,
I was I
well,
was meant redshirted that year.
but like you were still injured, and you've had a lot of injuries. So, what was it like coming back from those injuries, just in general, and making yourself a better player? How did you do that?
Uh, Honestly, as soon as a negative thought passes my mind, I try to take my mind off of it and just keep moving on, because I know the same type of time that I'm going to be spending thinking about the negativity or what bad could happen to my body at that point. I know that I could convert my energy into the opposite way. So I got to look at the positive things in every dark situation. So I would always keep that in mind and try to just push forward every single day and have it at the daily process. If I'm feeling better the one day, the second day I'm feeling a lot better, and the third day I'm feeling more sore because I went hard those first 2 days, then I got to take it back a little bit. And that's one thing that I value now is rest too. Still
Mm,
go hard, but value your rest as well.
You see a lot of
That's
players
valid.
like you see a lot of players on every level, high school, college, professional. They don't really take rest into that, like how you do. They don't make it as important. It's just train, 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 and a lot of them get injured, and you
Honestly,
need the
that's how I
rest.
used to be. That's
Hmm.
how I used to be too. And it wasn't until I was forced to it with
Hmm.
the whole pandemic and because of the compartment syndrome that I was dealing with.
That's a blessing in disguise because then you got that whole time to rest, and you were still able to you're still able to level up your game during the
Amen.
pandemic. So
Amen to that.
All right, so now we're gonna transition into answering some fan questions. So I hope you're ready, Danny.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, so first one in from Kevin O'Brien. So Kevin says, being a hooper from Miami, it isn't easy to make it. What about your game separates you from others?
Honestly, my shooting. I think it's that one's kind of obvious. Is obviously my shooting. That's what's took me this far. It's all about creating around the other assets of my game from that.
And also, can you just like take us into your shooting routine because you're such a good shooter. So I'm sure people want to hear that.
So I try to take every single day differently. So one day I would work on spot up shooting. The next day I would work on shooting off the dribble. The next day I would work on stepping through, backing up, swinging the ball, running to another spot on the floor, and shooting from there. So it's different types of shooting. I want to be comfortable shooting at any type of angle that I get the ball. And obviously if it's a good shot for the team, and I'm always thinking about that because basketball is a team sport, of course.
Is there any specific cold spot from behind the arc that you had to work on becoming like better from, or were you just an amazing shooter every spot everywhere?
Uh Deep 45 angle threes.
Ain't nobody practice those.
Unless you're Steph Curry or Dame Lillard.
No, unless you're
Trae
Danny
Young.
Ramis.
Wilson, I don't know.
All
Yeah,
right.
those were tough. But I've taken every single day, kind of taking it like with an open mind. So I would say, okay, maybe this is the same shot I'm shooting. Why is it like why would I change my form or do anything different from what I did from the shot before? Shooting is all repetition, and it's all just the same shot over and over and over again.
That actually goes against some advice that I've heard from some coaches because some shooting
Yeah.
coaches say that it's good to have a shot form coming off the dribble and a shot form
Yeah.
spotting up. What do you think about
Well,
that?
well, yeah, it's going to deviate a little bit because you're coming off the dribble. A lot plays into that. Where you put the ball on the floor before you go up into your shot. If you push the ball hard enough off the floor, do you get it into your shooting pocket? Little things like that is gonna alter your shot. But at the end, when you get the ball over here at the 90-degree angle, right above your eyes, you want to have that same form every single time. Doesn't matter what you do before, as long as you end up here. If you end up here and you're in your comfortable shooting angle, you're gonna keep it the same.
And
Essentially,
that's definitely something Duncan Robinson does. Throughout the
Duncan
playoffs, one
Robinson
thing
does a
he
great job at that. If you
his
notice, that Curry does that too, though.
yeah.
Seth Curry, there's a lot of great shooters in the NBA that do that, and I try to take away from that too. I try to learn from them.
I also want to ask quickly. I see a lot of great shooters like Chris Middleton, Davis Bertans. They use their
Yeah.
legs to their advantage when they shoot. Like they'll start out with their legs close and they'll end in a wide stance. Do you use your legs to your advantage when you shoot?
I do, but as the game goes on, and you do get to that fourth quarter, you would want to use maybe release like a slightly bit earlier because your legs do wear out throughout the whole course of a game, and so maybe you don't have that enough power throughout the game to get the shot up and over. So maybe releasing a little bit earlier does help with that.
All right, so Danny, second question coming in from Louis Varela on Instagram. His question for you is how do you stay focused on your goal with this outside noise of this modern age of social media?
Man, I try. It's kind of inevitable to get away from it, honestly, but it's all about how you take it in. At least that's how I interpret it. Uh, I try to just stay focused on my goal because I know that I always keep the bigger picture ahead, and I always keep my why in front of me every single morning that I wake up. So I wake up knowing that I love what I do. So why would I deviate from that because of what else is happening outside of that's out of my control? So that's how I attack upon that.
So I guess another related question coming from another fan question from Anthony Verdego. His question is to be great, do you have to suffer?
Yeah, you not suffer. You got to go through some adversity though.
Yeah, no pain,
That,
no
that
gain.
I really
not
like that.
necessarily a no pain no gain, but adversity does breed experience. and the way people perceive things and think about situations.
Those are some
I love
wise
that quote.
words.
Adversity breeds experience.
Yeah,
That's
those are some wise words.
Thanks.
that's that Jimmy Butler motto.
Hmm. That mentality.
Yeah, I guess Anthony actually sent in two more questions. Another one sort of backpacks right off of that. Is
Send them through.
Yeah, his question is, do you train your mind to not quit?
Uh, if it's overbearing, like step away and then come back to it later. But to quit, it really depends how bad do you want it.
All right, so
How
third
bad you
question.
want and how consistent you are on a daily basis.
All right, so a third question coming in from Anthony is, how do you control your emotions on and off the court?
Hmm. Uh, well, I've always been one where I would stay quiet and like if someone is talking trash to me, like I would just stay quiet on the floor and I would just like let it fuel me inside. So I would just keep on going like bucket after bucket after bucket, and that's where I started to get streaky, and then it gets dangerous for him.
Actions
But
speak well. Actions speak louder than words.
yep. So I would try to perceive it like that, and off the floor, I try not to let it bother me.
I know that sometimes some hoopers, when they get trash talk, they get like flustered up, and then they'll
Yeah.
start making rash decisions on the court. How do you like combat that?
I'll start smiling and then just play freely.
You can't get rent free in a man who's smiling at you, you know?
Exactly. Like
All
if I
right.
hit the third three in your face and I'm coming back with a smile on your face, there's nothing you can do about that.
That'd get me more mad, honestly, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm
I would
like
get
putting
angry.
I'm
That's
putting
why to
all
get
my I'm putting all
remember
my
that.
energy into getting you pissed off, and you out here laughing at me, man.
Yeah, I learned that from Curry. I used to like try to combat that and like trash talk back, but honestly it didn't work for me. Like smiling and having fun with the game, because essentially it's a game. I'm having fun with it and I love what I do there. So that's how I take that. Like when people come trash talk to me during the game. Yeah. I'm not saying a word. Just know you're about to have 20 by the end of the night.
Hey
On
man,
the head. 20
scoreboard
on his
does all the
head.
talking. All right,
What
so next,
about passive aggressive small talk where you're like, wow, you're a really good defender. I kind of got you there, but like you're an amazing defender.
bro, that's something you do in your rec leagues. You know?
No. No, I always respect my opponent too,
Yeah.
because you have your good days, you have your bad days. But yeah, I enjoy what I do and I love playing the game itself, man.
All right, so next question coming in on Instagram from Louis Menendez. His question for you is, who was the toughest point guard you had to face in high school and or college?
Dang, in high school, toughest point guard, I would say either BJ Glassford from Coral Reef or Casey Hill.
Not
That was
sure.
in a summer league. I don't know if summer leagues count. It was
That could
actually
count.
and you said college or pros?
Both.
Well, pros, Dries de Leon. That guy is tough. Uh,
Describe his
he
game for me.
he he's a pass first point guard that has a burner. He could shoot. He could shoot the ball like crazy, just as well as I could. But he knows how to move the ball around his team like so perfectly. So I try to take that a little bit from his game too, just this past season.
Have you ever
And
played? My bad.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Have you ever played with him, like in a pickup game or anything?
No,
Because
I haven't gotten to play with him. I've
you
only played against.
guys, you guys would fit perfectly together if that's like pass first.
Yeah,
You know,
So like
yeah.
he's Steve Nash-esque.
I would love to play with a player like that. I like point guards who move the ball throughout the team because they always look for the shooter first.
Mhm.
And in college, I played a lot of good people throughout my college career. So there's not one specifically that like points out to me, but there's a couple great players like Willow Cruz. I've played with him and against him. He's a Puerto Rican guy. He plays for Ponce Leones right now in the BSN League. And there's a few others from JUCOs and when I played at Montclair as well. The Eric Murdoch from TCNJ was pretty good. You know, he was hard to stop. Uh, Off the top of my mind, I can't think of anybody else.
I mean, playing so many places, going so many places, you're like bound to come across all that talent, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Basketball has taken me a lot of places throughout this world, and I appreciate the game just as much for doing that.
How many
But yeah,
states have you? My bad.
no, no,
How
no. Go
many?
ahead.
How many states have you been in? I saw in the video you said 52. You have 8 left. Have you been in more since then?
No, I'm still at 8. I'm still at 8.
Oh.
Hopefully, when I go to see my brother up in Oregon, I would get to
Mhm.
travel throughout the whole Midwest, all that.
Mhm.
But Tennessee was your favorite, right?
Jersey,
Tennessee's up
Jersey.
there.
No, Pennsylvania is favorite,
That's
man.
You
I don't
gotta
know.
you gotta keep Jersey in your heart. You were born there.
I don't know.
Jersey's
He does have
hard.
family in Cordova, so Tennessee has like a deep place for him, right? Because
For
if he doesn't
sure.
Yeah,
like Tennessee, he's
I got a
basically
bunch of family there, of course.
Justin,
That's one
man.
of the places I go back to visit a lot, very frequently. And same thing with New Jersey. I got my
I'm
sisters
from
there.
Jersey.
Justin, man, you're not gonna tell me if you born in a trash can, you gonna come back to that trash can, Justin.
If my family there, I'm gonna get them out. Yes,
You gotta get him out the mud.
I do. I mean, I have family in Cuba right now. It's very very tough situation in Cuba because they're communist
Mm.
and it's just tough to even get meals on their plate. So we try to help them out as much as we can, but we're trying to get them out over here too. So I do deal with that as well.
All right, next question coming up from Josiah Cook. His question for you is, who's the best shooter in the NBA today? I mean, I feel like this is a pretty easy question, but we want to hear your take on it, I guess.
Right now, right now, or throughout this decade,
Right now.
Kevin Durant.
Over Curry? Wow.
Kevin Durant, he has a higher percentage right now.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, Steph is just.
This
I mean,
overall, Steph is taking it. Yep.
yeah.
I mean, KD can just pull up in anyone's mitt, just splash it. So he does have a decent case.
and
Seven
his,
Yep.
foot.
7
and his
foot.
Where's
unorthodox jumper is like so hard to stop.
Yeah, not even LeBron could stop that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
7 foot?
we just talking about overall shooting. It's not just about three-point
Overall,
shooting.
Stephen Curry.
I mean, his
Stephen Curry.
mid-range is killer.
Yep, that's true.
Like there's
That's
more
true.
than
K is killer, but
there's
it is better than. But Curry could pull from anywhere, and it's a for sure shot.
Have you ever played against someone that's like Kevin Durant, that's like really tall but has all that skill, could shoot from anywhere?
Oh yeah, I had somebody like that as a teammate just now when I was out in Colombia. Rafael Putney. He's he's another very tall. He played in the G League for the Sioux Falls Sky Force, and he's another tall guard where he could shoot, drive in. He has a lot of bounce. He gets his head to the rim, but he could shoot from 3 too. He shoots right over people. So I love playing with people like that. They're easy to play with.
Fun to
and
play with too.
It's fun, very fun to play with them. Yeah.
it's unfair, man.
We've got one in here that could do that.
Right here, man.
Yeah, right there.
All right. Anyways, our final fan question comes in from Boston Biased, and his question for you is: if you had one day to coach him, what adjustments would you make to Jarrett Culver's jump shot?
Jared Culver.
Minnesota
He plays for the
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. He's not shooting very well. He's like 50% from the free throw line, 20%
Seen
from
him play since
three.
college.
If
Yeah,
I
he
pull
played
up
for
his
Texas
shooting
Tech.
stats right now, it is 22% from 3 and 52% from free throw.
I haven't seen him since college, but his form did look pretty good. If anything, I would say maybe release a little bit earlier or use a little bit more legs, strengthen up the legs because the NBA line does go a little bit more further back. And when I transitioned from college to I first went semi-pro, we used the NBA line, and what I had to do was use more leg power. I would get in the weight room, try to work on my legs a lot more, and just release a little bit earlier if I'm feeling fatigued toward the end of the game.
One thing I noticed he does, much like the Grizzlies' Brandon Clark, is he has like multiple jumpers he tries to use, and his elbow placement is so poor. I
Yeah,
don't think you can ever be a good shooter if you don't have good elbow placement.
yeah, that plays a very big role into shooting. That's what I was talking about when you're coming off the dribble, you're gonna always have the elbow placement here.
Yeah.
This always needs to be very consistent in every shot you take.
Anyways, that's all we have lined up for you today. Just really want to say thank you, Danny, for coming on the pod for this interview today. Definitely a great
No,
ad on here,
guys,
man.
thank you guys, Ian. Thank you.
And
You're a really inspiring,
yeah,
positive dude.
you drop so
Anytime.
much
Got a
good
lot of
shooting
respect.
knowledge and whatnot. So hope
Mhm.
everyone who's listening to this can take this to heart, add it to their own routines and whatnot.
I just hope that anybody who does listen to this does take at least one thing away from what I've said, from all the experience I've had. I started off from freshman team of my high school team, being one of the last picks, and I've gone all the way to the pros. So I've seen every level in that aspect, from high school to college to pros. So if somebody takes something away, learns something here, I would be very happy to hear that. So reach out if you do, if you like anything, and reach out to my guys right here, Ian too,
SwishWire.
Logan,
Yo,
Justin.
so y'all need the plug for Danny. You can find his Instagram at dramis1k if you're trying to follow his journey through the pros. So
Appreciate
thank you.
it. Third season's coming up soon. Third season's coming up soon.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
can't wait to watch you. We will be watching your career with great interest.
My
Best season
guys,
yet.
I appreciate you, Ian. I'm gonna be on the lookout for you guys too.
Yes, sir. Coming back to win states this year.
Who
Oh
knows? Maybe
yeah.
we'll go head to head
Hey,
eventually.
how are you guys doing, by the way? With the whole COVID rules, down here, they've been canceling a couple of high school games. I don't know how they're handling the situation up there.
Yeah, we gotta wear masks in all games. They've been canceling some games. Yeah, hooping with a mask is the toughest thing I've ever done. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I've had a few runs with those too. That is
Yeah,
pretty tough. But hey, man, persevere. I know you guys got that grit. Go get states this year.
thank you. So you can find us on our Instagram at SwishWire, and we'll be getting this out on Spotify, YouTube, and whatever platform you listen to for your podcast. Hopefully sometime next week. So we'll see y'all on the next pod.
Peace
My
out.
guys, I appreciate you.